Oh, that's not doing anything. Alright, so, top left side, the blue Protoss player for Alpha X. I mispronounce his name on the daily, but we're going to regularly stick to the American pronunciation this time around. He is ZOUN. Bottom right side is the red Terran player. Looks like he's in a feisty mood. Didn't like to be proxied that previous game on Death Aura, so he's going to do it himself here. The teamless Terran, Mr. BYUN. Alright, just a single Marine though. Looks like it's just going to be for the single Reaper here. Get a bit of extra probe damage in the early game. You're going to have to fly that barracks back, of course, but in the end, if you manage to do a bit of harassment, you get that scouting information a lot earlier on. Well, I guess there's not that much more you get to scout. Maybe a little bit, you know, easier to get into the base initially, but still. Mainly comes down to just being able to get that probe damage done in the earlier parts. ZOUN being very careful here. Now, this is another benefit to having that barracks, of course, on the opposite side of the map. ZOUN doesn't know exactly what is going on now. It could be much of anything, right? He doesn't know there's barracks now. You may have seen that in his previous game, so he's checking over here. Is his barracks in the natural? No, it is not. Now, he's going to have to respect this. So, you know, it's kind of brave of ZOUN overall to still just drop down that Nexus at the moment when he wanted to. Not making anything else in that moment. Did he actually not see that SCV? I was so convinced that he would have seen that SCV. Alright, checking now. There we go. Sees the bunker. Immediately moving backwards. May try to throw down a shield battery. Yeah, alright. So that on its own already a bit of an investment here that he didn't have to make, right? You don't really need this shield battery against the Reapers. You just kind of need the Stalkers and the Adepts. Same goes for the Zealots, right? You want to get the Zealots in case it is something else entirely. You need to get that bunker down as quickly as possible, but right now it wasn't entirely necessary. Another Reaper should be coming in here. We'll be able to get maybe a probe or two more, as the Stalker is a bit preoccupied with trying to take on the bunker for the time being. There we go. More probes will fall. The Stalker's still not responding to this, so, I mean, that Reaper is going to have a field day overall. Should be getting himself, actually, ooh, it's going to get shot. Yeah, okay, that's a shame. Thought for a moment he was going to try to rotate around and then get back on that probe right there. Get 3 probes in total. But, you know what, overall, nothing to be quite that upset about here for BYUN, I would say. Finding himself 4 probe kills in total. Pretty darn tasty. Getting that shield battery out a little bit earlier than ZOUN would have liked to. And yeah, just overall causing a bit of a stir in ZOUN's pattern here. He is going to go for the Twilight Council. I didn't quite see the Twilight Council yet from Nice, of course. Continuously going for the Stargate here. Nice. Just, you know what, doing a bit of his own stuff there, I suppose, as well. Although, to be fair, it's not that peculiar, right? Stargate opening. Pretty darn normal, in fact. Anyway. Little Reaper man trying to get the rescout off. Did he ever see the Twilight Council? He did not. Okay, so still something he would like to get the scout off on. 2 Stalkers at the front door. So there's an opportunity here for the Reaper to gain access into the main base. Exactly what he does. Another Stalker is being warped in, but it's not going to withhold this Reaper. Just seeing this Twilight Council already more than enough here for BYUN. Will be satisfied to let that Reaper die now. Not going to spend too much more attention in getting that to be microed around. We'll just send those 2 Cyclones across instead. Realizing that it's not a Stargate opening here. They will not be too necessary in the later parts of this game. So gonna try to see if he can get some value out of them in the earlier parts of this game still. And there you go. Getting his little probe moving out of there. As soon as Blink finishes up, that is of course going to do quite a bit to the overall anything that Cyclones can do in that situation. But, you know what? He's not sticking around either. He's just moving back. Maybe if he did both locons onto the Nexus, maybe he would have been able to force a cancel. But it was so, you know, low in the overall production Wouldn't have been the biggest of deals, but still quite a nuisance, of course. Would have been also quite likely that he would have lost those cyclones then, because the stalkers were coming in. Bit hard to really get a good read on when that blink is going to finish up here, because, well, things already were a bit hazy with the start, right? So regular timings don't quite apply anymore. Two gateways being added on as well. Well, that's yep. Oh, that's an unlucky observer right there. ZOUN is gonna go for the Robo Bay here. How did BYUN get to a third CC so fast? Quicker than the third Nexus from ZOUN. Well, ZOUN took quite a bit of damage at the earlier part of this game. I mean, he already took 6 probes worth of damage right here off of the, well, the initial 2 Reapers, I suppose, right? And I guess the Cyclone as well. I think he also wants to play just kind of safe here. It is still surprising because we did see BYUN open up with the double gas off of the 1 base. So he must have taken some boys off of the gas overall in order to get that minerals value. Ooh, 3 siege tanks on top of one another. That's a lot of damage if you overstay your welcome there. But yeah, I mean, BYUN in just a wonderful position here right now. Still got the leads in the early part of the game and never quite let go since. Still got a wonderful army supply as well, as the worker count will start heading over across the map here with quite the impressive push. There's not that much here available for ZOUN, although he did invest into 2 more shield batteries right now. The Stalkers, ooh, that is unfortunate, isn't it? He's not being able to scout this at all. The Observer, in fact, not in the right place either. He's going to be completely blindsided here. Now he sees the Rookstock on. Now he realizes that this is going on. No chance to really get those Stalkers in a position to deny the army from just moving forward. And this could be quite a bit of trouble. Really needed to delay this push with those Stalkers here, of course, but could not find the opportunity to do so. Is this still going to be okay for ZOUN? He's taking a beating on those Colossi, though. More Zealots being warped in, helping out a little bit, but the siege tanks, 4 of them, they definitely pack quite the punch. The Stalkers blinking forwards, but yeah, that is a GG right there. BYUN taking game number 1 here. Okay, BYUN. When things go a little bit his way in the early parts of the game, it's hard to make a comeback against him, isn't it? To be fair, I mean, those Stalkers, I'm not sure if they would have been able to delay that push right there, but at least, you know, he may have been able to snipe some units, snipe a siege tank, snipe a Raven, right? Anything like that, even a Marauder, something. Anything will give you a bit of a leg up in that type of situation, and it just wasn't happening there because he did not have his Observer in the right position. Now, to be fair, of course, he did lose that first initial Observer already to the Raven, so it was hard for him to really see what was going on. He had a second Observer, but that second Observer not in the right place at the right time there for what the situation asked for. Those rocks getting destroyed, and yeah, ZOUN getting blindsided because of it. Doesn't happen that often where you're like, alright, so this is why you go through the rocks instead of the regular way, but that definitely was a good bit of showing why it can be quite advantageous to take a less optimal route, right? Even though it takes a bit longer, it can still be more advantageous than just taking the regular route. Okay, 2 wins are necessary for this red Protoss player here from Team Alpha X. He is ZOUN. His opponent in the blue, once again going across the map here with that little SCV. He is the teamless Terran, BYUN. Oh. Another thing I suppose is quite important to note with all of that, right? I was harping on about the Stalkers just not being able to intercept or delay that push, but I mean, that's one of the small things that you need to do as a Protoss, right? It doesn't guarantee that you're going to hold there, but at least you buy yourself more time. At least you buy yourself a better shot at dealing with that. And this was just kind of a pummeling, right? Just kind of BYUN going ham on his opponents and turning it up to 11 without really ZOUN being able to do much of anything there. Even having half his army just kind of now in the middle of the map while he was attacking with, like, what was it? 1 Colossi? Maybe 2 Colossi, 3 Zealots and a Sentry, something like that, right? And then not any of the Stalkers being there. Not that advantageous either. Would be better to have the Stalkers in the front of your Colossus so that you could actually try to snipe down the Raven as it's coming forward to get the interference matrix, but you guys know what I mean, right? Enough about that. Enough about that. Here we go. There's that Reaper. Once again, that we do have a Zealot. No shield battery this time around being made so far, but we don't have a bunker either being constructed, so that is the mix-up here. BYUN really trying to micro against those probes. Once again, wants to get those early probe kills. I mean, it did help out quite a bit the previous time. Already getting quite a bit of night mining here, of course. Take a quick gander at what he managed to accomplish here. Well, that's still a bit of income advantage, right? Still a bit of income advantage. In the early parts of this game, that can still make a difference. But, of course, as well as production from the barracks is going to be quite heavily delayed. Looks like he will be utilizing that money that is left over now in order to get himself the quick attack routes here for a Widow Mine drop and a command center as well to boot. Still has those 2 Reapers here. They are being blocked off by those buildings here with the pylons. So that's a good call. Bit easier perhaps for ZOUN to make something like that happen on a map like this. Still always a bit scary for a Protoss to put their structures on a location like this, because it does become a pushable location, of course, with siege tanks and such. Now, we know that there's no real threat of siege tanks coming anytime soon, but still always something that you can decide as BYUN right now. Like, alright, well, you got your cyber core here and another gateway. I can shut down quite a bit of your production capabilities just by maneuvering myself into that position right there. And then forcing you to have awkward exchanges with me. Or just kind of lose that that infrastructure. Here we go. 3 Widow Mines into the medevac. Off to the other side. We do have Phoenixes being produced there by ZOUN, so you know what, the Phoenix response should be theoretically the best response overall to these Widow Mines, right? But there is 3 Widow Mines and there's only 2 Phoenix so far. He's trying to chrono boost out 1 more. It may just arrive in the nick of time here, really, but we'll have to wait and see how quick his response is overall, of course. Does have the Adepts and the Stalker already in the mineral line. Oh boy, I think maybe you saw the Reapers there just kind of scooting past the edge. Not going to get pulled away though for so far. Here we go. And does get both lift ups. Gets rid of the other one with the firepower that was already there. So very well done. Good response by ZOUN. Not taking any damage from the Widow Mine drop either. This game already just an entirely lopsided turn of events, right? Not taking the early game worker losses and then the follow-up aggression from BYUN. Also getting absolutely thwarted. Let's see what these Phoenix now will be able to do across the map. It's kind of fortunate here as well, I'd say, for ZOUN in a way, right? That he went for the Phoenix instead of the Blink Stalker opening here. I think the Phoenix is always going to be preferred over the Blink Stalkers versus Widow Mines. Every single day I would choose Phoenix over Blink Stalkers against Wither Mines. Just a lot of target firing and finicking around with those Blink Stalkers. A lot of them will overshoot as well, so you get rid of one very, very well, but then the other one, you know, you're like, alright, well, I guess we just barely have enough time to get rid of that one as well, but then there's always that third Wither Mine that becomes quite tricky to deal with. Or you have to just blink in between all of them, so you have your Stalkers kind of, their proximity spread out, and then hopefully the volleys will line up correctly into the, no, will spread out correctly, I suppose I should say, against those Wither Mines. But regardless, here we go. We have the push coming around. BYUN, this is one of his moments. This is where he needs to make this work. This is where he needs to get himself some value obtained. Let's see what ZOUN has at home. It's not that much on the ground here. He will have a single Colossus. Does not have the extended thermal lance just quite yet. The Phoenix is already on patrol as well, seeing that there's reinforcements streaming across the map here, so he is aware that this is coming. He's going to have himself 2 shield batteries as well to boot. And there we go, BYUN. Is he going to decide to go for the area over here? Does not look like it. Ooh, walking into siege tank fire. I'm not sure if I like this. Is it gonna work out? It looks like it will. There's just too much Protoss right now. He did lose all of his Phoenixes though. But he does hold on, and I think that's the main thing here, right? Just being able to get rid of those siege tanks is quite the big deal. There are 2 Vikings out as well. There's gonna be a Marine drop into the main base without any Phoenixes around anymore. This is a brilliant choice overall. We do have some Phoenixes being remade, but there's only 2 of them. Not enough to really shut down and medevac quickly enough in order to stop any damage from being taken. 7 probes. Make that 8. Already go down quite quickly here. So we do need a bit more. Another attempt to start the pressure here from BYUN. Good sieging up on those units right there. Losing more probes, losing more mining though. BYUN is slowly getting himself somewhere in this game, perhaps. Army supply 62 versus 45. Worker count not too far apart either. We just don't have that 3rd base yet in production, of course, for BYUN. We'll start it up right now, though. As he is seeing, alright, I'm getting some value here. Maybe I will be able to get this going into my favor. Enough that I'll be able to push through here with a 3rd base right now. Another big drop, getting some probes. There we go. This is starting to add up right now. Just to be careful, though, not to send out too many units. He's trading amazingly against those zealots, though, so not going to be upset about that whatsoever. He's losing everything with the medevacs going down here. It's a bit of a shame. But there he is, the siege up onto the infrastructure we were talking about earlier. Now just going to be able to abuse this cliff site. That's quite difficult for the Protoss to deal with. He's going to send a couple of his forces around, a couple of the forces towards the main base as well, as he's losing more probes once more. He should be able to get rid of these siege tanks though on the low ground. He does get rid of those medevacs as well in the main base. At least he forces them out of there. Only losing 4 probes this time around. What else is he doing? He's sending in a flanking zealot force, actually, on the retreating forces and the reinforcements here. I'm not sure if that was worth it, but it was a very cool attempt right there. If only the rest of his forces were kind of there at the same time. That would have been very cool to see. Not quite working out, though. 3 Vikings together with the double medevac right now. Looks like they... well, I'm not sure, actually. Kind of debating on where they need to go right now. Feel like they are quite necessary at the main base for the time being. BYUN not going to have any time to send them over back to the main base, so we'll send them into the base of ZOUN. ZOUN still, actually, you know what? He's doing a lot against these SCVs. The siege tank in the back, dealing an absurd amount of damage against that Colossus, and alright, does hold on for now. 22 SCVs go down, and a recall does come in as well. Colossus should not stay up all that long with the Vikings there, but BYUN gets his army out of there. That's probably the main thing. Doesn't get any type of real damage dealt though, which is a bit of a shame for him at that moment, because now he's 29 workers versus 50. Good bit of counter pressure right there from ZOUN, being able to put himself back on top of the overall leaderboards right now. Of this game in particular. Couple of Archons, quite a few Zealots here. That is a ton of bio. Let's get rid of the siege tank, maybe just retreat afterwards. It's always scary to move in and out of a Terran army. That's exactly what the Terran army wants you to do. But at least we did get rid of that siege tank, one of the main benefactors of just Brodos armies moving in and out of range. A single adept right now in the main base, another in the natural. Warp Prism being a bit of a nuisance. Did get BYUN to kind of reassess the situation, reevaluate his position in this game. Moving back around. Army for ZOUN, couple of warp-ins later. Looking a lot more intimidating now. I think he will be able to start breaking on through with this force again. BYUN sending... Oh, that is a lot of medevacs right now. Not in position to deal with this. Gonna go straight into the main base. The base trade, I just don't see it working out all that well for BYUN in this situation. Maybe up on top of the ramp. It's gonna be difficult for those Zealots to get on top of stuff, of course, but he has the Colossi. Actually, just a single Colossus. He's got the Archons as well to get rid of that meat shield as quickly as he needs to. Now an Immortal right on top of that siege tank as well. The Warp Prism a bit ballsy, actually, warping in on top of this. Guess he knows that. BYUN busy with the drop in the main base. GG is called. ZOUN ties up the series right now. Alright, 1-1. 1-1. Let's make this a little bit smaller, actually. I think we need it that big. There we go. Trying to test out some more of the widgets we got now for Trovo as well. We should have alerts also if that is if I do have that activated. Actually, let me take a look. Yeah, that should be okay. That should be okay. All right. So anyway, game number 3 will be played on Oxide. Get that rolling. Let's get that rolling. Oxide. Very similar to Pillars of Gold overall, just map layout wise. Also kind of colors and stuff, right? But there's some clean, distinct differences, of course. As is with all maps. The name. No. There's, of course, the destructible debris. It's a lot of different outlying bases overall in this one. Different positioning, right? It's a more clear-cut way of splitting the map in the middle. Alright, here we go. Bottom left side, the red Brodos player fighting for Alpha X. He is ZOUN. Top right side, his opponent. In the blue, will he be able to claim his first victory here against the Alpha Axis? He is the teamless Terran, BYUN. ZOUN fighting. Oh, ZOUN. Definitely bringing it that last round right there. Beautifully holding against the Reaper attack, the Reaper aggression really at the start. Then afterwards, the Widowmine drop not doing anything at all whatsoever. The Phoenixes, I suppose the Phoenixes didn't get much harassment done, but they definitely held their own against the reinforcements as well. So that is on its own quite the great fortunate thing, isn't it? Just being able to see that, well, first and foremost, the attack is coming in, so you're able to build those shield batteries, and at the same time just shutting down the wave of units that's coming in one by one. Okay, double engineering bay block right here for BYUN. It's gonna get one cancelled, the other one should be cancelled as well. Always wonder if this is actually worth it overall. I don't know. I don't think so personally, but the double engineering bay block, it is frustrating though, of course, for the Protoss still. Can be quite a frustrating thing to have happen. Alright, let's see what kind of tech tree we're walking this time around. Or climbing into. I really did enjoy myself that Stargate opening here from ZOUN. Would like to see it again, but he does prefer, I think, the Blink Stalkers overall. ZOUN is a Protoss that really relies heavily upon micro, right? Bit of the micro aspects of the Protoss play, and there is the Twilight Council again. I'm not saying that Phoenixes are, you know, less microable, but I think they're just multitask intensive rather than actual precise micro as the Stalkers, right? Blink micro is just so much potential there for overall micro. Alright, nicely done. Yes, the Blink upgrade coming in as well. Let's see if ZOUN decides to go for more gateway heavy this time around. Only 2 of them have been created so far. Is he going to go up any further? Oh, this could be bad. Ooh, the block right there on the left side does manage to block off one of the Hellions. This is a lot of trouble. No Science 3 access. Does he get that Stalker in time? Well, kind of. Probes, careful probes. Don't stack up like that. That is a death sentence right now. 10 probes right there. That's a good volley. Now that should be the end of it. 10 probes though. That is still a very, very good catch by the, well, the Hellions right there. The blue Hellions. I was about to say blue Hellions, and then I thought to myself, wait a moment. They're not blue flame Hellions. And I thought to myself again, and wait a moment. They are blue though. It's funny. Funny things. Trying to correct myself twice in the same sentence. Not a good way to really professionally word the words you're trying to put out in the world, huh? Anyway. 4 Widow Mines this time around. Let's see the difference between the overall Phoenix protection squad versus the Blink Stalkers overall here, how well they will be able to deal with this. I suppose they won't be able to deal with it at all if they are inside of a War Prism going across the map, though. This could be trouble, guys. This could be quite a bit of trouble indeed. ZOUN needs to get a very, very clean pull on those probes. And BYUN is actually waiting here, so maybe he's even waiting for the Blink Stalkers to be a bit more aggressive. And as soon as they do start to get aggressive here, that's when he goes in. It could be a very, very smart way to do this. We'll keep our eye out on that medevac. It's a bit busy, I suppose, right now with the micro at home. It's going to send them in at this moment in time. I think that is a good call. Let's see. There's 1, there's 2, there's 3. Maybe I'm a bit early here. Ooh, yep, that is. Oh, that. Woo! GG. GG. Just like that. 16 probes. Sounds like, yep, never mind, never mind. The main base as well already had to be evacuated there by the Stalkers. Had to go into the low ground